At the toss, Suryakumar Yadav said he wanted the bowlers to feel some pressure, but there was a point in this game when the batters felt the pressure as well until Shivam Dube came in and scored a blistering 66 to get India to 193 runs in their 20 overs. Shivam Dube 66 of 31, Captain Suryakumar Yadav 34 of 28, Tilak Verma 31 of 27. Logan Van Beek picked up 3 but gave away 56, and Aryan Dutt looked very impressive, 2 for 19 in his 4. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I've got a winner, Zaheer Khan, in the house along with him, Murali Kartik. Zach, to you first. At one point, Netherlands looked very impressive. They picked up 2 wickets in the power play. We saw wickets falling. But then there was a partnership between Shivam Dube and Captain Suryakumar Yadav.
Aryan Dutt started well. I think, Abhishek, once again, we've seen that big shot coming in too early in his innings and losing his wicket. Another duck for him. So, that's definitely going to be some pressure added to him next time when he's going to walk into bat. But I think on the whole, Netherlands used the conditions well. If you see overall bowling plans as well, a lot of cutters, a lot of slower ones into the pitch. Those deliveries were very effective, made use of that. Barring one drop catch of Suryakumar Yadav, I think, they've done a whole lot of things right in the 20 overs they were on the field. They'll be very happy with the kind of effort they put against such a strong batting lineup of India.
Like Zach said, they caught everything except for Suryakumar Yadav's one catch. They were electric in the field, Kartik. We spoke about it in the comm box. That pitch was a little slow. It was holding up a little bit. So sensible batting by Surya and by Shivam Dube.
Shivam was outstanding. Just look at his innings, getting a 50 of 25 balls and some clean hitting. The purity of his shot making was right there. That was the feature of his innings. And Surya found it not the way normally he does. You think of some of the shots that he does or does play, they couldn't come out the way he would have wanted to. And as you said, there was something in the pitch for the bowlers. The spinners had some purchase, and as Zach said, lots of slow cutters being used by the opposition bowlers, and you will give it to them. You will give it to Netherlands. When you talk about the, what should I say? The energy in the field. I think Roelof van der Merwe has always said it. For whichever team he's played, he's always been a pretty feisty cricketer. What I was surprised was that the way the captain didn't use him for a very long time. I think Roelof van der Merwe is a very handy left-arm spinner. Pretty quick, it doesn't give away the wickets. So I was a bit surprised that they only brought him on to bowl in the 16th over, which was a bit too late. But all in all, Netherlands, for whatever they did, they would be pretty happy by restricting India to less than 200.
Well, just focusing a little bit on Shivam Dube, he came out 66, he hit 6 sixes. We know he has that ability to hit big and hit out of the park. It was that Ackerman over, I think 13th or 14th over, he went for those 2 sixes. So again, smart, because he started off a little slowly and then shifted gears up.
Well, what you like about this Indian batting lineup and the strength which everyone talks about is the sheer ability to hit sixes right through that batting order. And I think that's what sets them apart from all the other teams. Shivam Dube makes use of the tall height, long levers, tremendous power, and the confidence is shown, isn't it? Like every time he's there, given an opportunity, you might get out, but that intent is shown by most of the batters, and that is something which is a good planning, I would say, a good culture which you've seen with the Indian batting, especially the format allows you to do that, but also the planning of that. Even if you soak in few dot balls, you're actually not really concerned too much because if one guy is staying there enough, he's going to do the damage. And today it was Shivam Dube, and that's something which will give the team management also a lot of confidence. And when you're planning on playing big games, even if you lose a couple of wickets, you know that it's just a matter of someone absorbing pressure and putting his hand up and delivering.
It's interesting you say that, because when we see that batting card, it looked like a team effort, except for Abhishek Sharma, who got out on 0. We see 31 from Tilak Verma, Suryakumar Yadav 34, then 66, Hardik with 30, and of course Rinku coming, hitting the 6 of the first ball. But Kartik, this looked like a really nice team effort. But up top, I want to chat about Abhishek Sharma. We spoke about him in the pre-match show. Either he goes big or he goes home. Again today, 3 in a row. You spoke about it and said that he's somebody who will maybe need to tweak a little bit, maybe not go for the big shot, wait it out, respect the opposition, respect the bowler. So it's something he will want to think about.
And you saw that as he was walking away, there was a big shake of the head.
Yeah.
And normally we don't see that with him. He walks away. Yes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword sometimes. But once you start adding zeros and only zeros for somebody who's supposed to get your team off to a fast start, and again, for me, it was only words of advice and words of warning that you don't take this game lightly. You don't take anybody lightly. You just need to apply the same sort of yardsticks. Why some of the greats have become greats is because of being a great student of the game, of being humble, of staying subservient to the game. And I think that is very, very important. If you start thinking that I'm having a great time and this will continue, it doesn't. In sport, we see more days of failure than more days of success. And that is statistically proven across all sports. So you have to respect that, and that's one of the reasons why I said that. And again, when you start getting those zeros, there are other voices which start adding up.
Yes.
Whether it's your own self-doubts or people around, it doesn't take time for people to turn around. They hail you one day and suddenly they'll say, oh, you need to be a bit more responsible. And rather than somebody saying it, I think you need to start looking inwards to do that. And look, again, I said this as well, that he's got oodles of talent. What he does, yes, you don't want to stifle him, but at the same time, he has to make sensible decisions.
You know, Kartik, you're saying that, and it's very interesting because he brought this example as well, because Suryakumar Yadav for a very long time was questioned. We know his celebrations. He does this. He's believed in himself. It's a kind of very thin line, Zach. I want to understand from you as a sportsman. You need to back yourself. You need to back your strengths. Abhishek thinks he's an attacking player, and it's that thin line of, do you back yourself or do you wait it out and maybe try and alter things around a little bit?
Well, I think it's about the situation, isn't it? So when it's a first inning which is not gone your way, it's like, okay, fine, nothing has changed. You go out there again and go in with the same kind of intent and approach. And if it comes good, then you get that run which you can continue with. I think when you have 3 zeros, then obviously the pressure is going to be there. There's no doubt about it. He might say it otherwise. He might want to, in his body language or in his press meets or however you want to communicate, he might communicate it differently, but I'm sure he will be feeling that pressure. And I think it's a situation where you just got to shut your ego and say that, okay, fine, I'm going to just build my innings. Let me just get back into it, get some runs under your belt, and then again find your own self. But it's the time where it's not easy at times,
Yes.
Because you're saying, okay, this is the way I've batted. If I start thinking otherwise, I'm not going to score runs, all those kind of things. And those are the voices which he's talking about. There is no harm. There's no harm, there's no shame in just accepting the fact that, okay, I've scored 3 zeros. I need to start the innings. So that is when you say that, okay, shut the ego, just go, play the game, play the ball, play the situation, get yourself in. And once you're in, then again look to find that rhythm. I think, unfortunately, that's the situation which Abhishek has found himself in. He can look at saying that, okay, I had ill health, I missed the game because of that, maybe, the strength is not there, or whatever the reason is. He's the best guy to judge all those kind of aspects. But end of the day, when you're representing your country, the numbers, if you're not able to put it, then at some stage the pressure is going to get to you.
Well, there's someone who dealt with the pressure very well today is Aryan Dutt. 4 overs, 19, picked up the 2 left-handers up top. We spoke about him, but Kartik, how impressed were you with him? Logan Van Beek, 4 overs, he picked up those 3, but very expensive with those 56. But how impressed were you with Aryan Dutt?
Super impressive. I think we spoke about him even before, why he's given that responsibility and he takes it up with both hands. It's about accepting that challenge. You know you're going to get hit. You can go for plenty in those first few. And he bowled 3. Can you imagine? He bowled 3 in the power play.
And 16 dot balls.
Yeah. And more importantly, he got rid of 2 super power players. One we spoke about. and the other one has been in tremendous form. And what stood out for me was in the power play, you only have two fielders outside. His control on length, his control on what he wanted to do, given the attacking mindset of the batters, I think that is what stood out for me. And also, you need a bit of luck. There could be times where you've done everything right and there's a top edge or there's a misfield. In fact, the first runs which were scored of him were a misfield. You need a few things to go your way, but as long as you know that I made these calls and they worked out well, your feeling stands vindicated. And I think that is what was the feature of his bowling. 4 overs, 19 against India in the power play, 3 of them outstanding.
Well, Zach, now coming to India, because Netherlands needs to get 194. It seems like a little bit of an uphill task. Like we said, it was holding up a little bit, the pitch. But we can expect the same Bumrah, Hardik in the power play?
Yeah, you'll always expect Indian bowling attack to defend this total. There is no doubt about it. It's just about how the game unfolds. There is enough help. If Dube becomes a factor, we've seen those kind of challenges. But having said that, consider all the other permutation combinations. It'll be a big shock and a surprise if Netherlands is able to get close to this total or win the game. So you'll still think that India is going to be favourite to close this game down. How they approach it, what kind of intent, all those kind of factors. Is there any learning? Are there any situations where they're going to be under pressure? Those are the things we have to see. But yeah, I'll be very surprised if they're not able to defend this total.
Well, Arshdeep is out there bowling and the winner takes it all. So Zach chooses who goes first with the prediction.
I'm going with 38. I'm going with 38.
He's so quick to respond.
He was ready.
Impressed.
And look, I don't wait. I have my own calculations whether they work or no.
Last time also was 38.
Last time was
and
also
it did
38.
work.
It did work.
Paste.
It worked. That's why I got was 2 and 2 then.
All right. Zach,
Thanks for
who's
reminding
next?
us you got 2 and 2.
No, 2 and 3 now. 2 out of 3 now.
48 for me.
48.
Yeah.
38, 48. I'm going to go with 42.
You're always in the slipstream. I love that. That is why she was quick. She said, okay, let me go to Zach. I know what Zach is going to do. Ask Kartik to go for it.
I didn't have 3 moves ahead at all for the prediction game.
No, you should have asked Zach, who's the second person?
I did. He said he took the call. But that's what we have. Hopefully, we have another winner. Hopefully, Zach gets 2 and 2. It'd be a nice even competition then. 2 and 2 for both.
And what about you? I have been hearing you muttering and mumbling as the final overs are coming. You are not like this, Saiyami. You have become super competitive about this game more than anyone.
I've learned from the coach. I've learned how to be competitive. Thank you, Kartik, for teaching me competition. Thank you, Zach, for this. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back at the 10 hour point, the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you all there.